Hello there. Welcome to Alyssa Jane's Reviews. I am Alyssa Jean, the Cab Sav Queen. If you're wondering what Cab Sav is, if you're not a wine drinker, Cabaret Sauvignon. This is the one I'm drinking right now. Probably a cheaper wine. I get it from my wine club. It is Delta from, what is it, California? Yeah. As I've said before, I pick wine off of the pretty labels. This is like a pretty tie-dye looking label. So, and I like Cab Savs. So not just a pretty label, but also within red wine realm. I like red wines. I like Cab Savs. Hello, Maddie Jester. Thank you for joining me. All right. What are you drinking? And it doesn't matter if it's alcoholic, and it doesn't matter if you're drinking anything at all. Just always ask anybody who's going to join me for these kinds of chats. So I'm going to lead off in just a minute with the Expanse series finale. And I'm going to be giving spoilers. So for anyone who's watching this live who hasn't seen this, you probably want to mute me for a little while or something, or maybe come back later or something like that, because I am going to get into spoilers. Because I'm not joining Mark tonight on Enchantment of Eternity for his discussion of the finale. He's got Darren and Rob for that. I'm joining him next week with an old friend, Josh from Geeksiders, which will be a lot of fun. And we're going to talk about the season as a whole. But I'm not talking about the finale with him tonight, so therefore I'm going to talk about it now, or in just a second I will. God, my nose is so itchy for some reason. Do not need this layer on. So this is, by the way, a classic, I would say, outfit for me with this particular dress and this particular necklace and these earrings. I've worn them for videos before. The last video I wore this outfit for wasn't exactly this, because I didn't have these same earrings on. I had the silver half moon earrings that I like to wear sometimes. But for my 10 worst retcon video that I did in September, I wore this outfit with those earrings. So it's a classic to me with this very necklace. Okay, cool. Mighty Jester's drinking some Carlsberg cheap lagers. Totally legit. Enjoy yourselves some cheap lagers. Carlsberg is, it's better than Budweiser. So, sure. Hola, Carita and Matt, Brandon House. Brandon, I keep meaning to ask you, what does Carita mean? Like, it seems like a Spanish term, but I've never heard it before you. So I keep meaning to ask you that, because you always call me that. Bulmer Cider. Brandon, I hope you have seen the Expanse finale. You must have. I'm sure you're going to be there to watch Mark and Darren and Rob talk about it in a couple hours. But I am about to talk about it. Let me take a few more sips of my wine. Dear female, I assume you misspelled female by accident. Dear female friend. Oh, okay, cool. Is that a Spanish term? I was not familiar with it. Yeah, I figured you weren't calling me ugly bitch or anything like that. I assumed it was something nice, but I never heard it before. Hold on. More wine. Spanish. Yeah, it sounded Spanish. I just never heard it. Okay. I'm going to start by talking about the Expanse series finale. And then the next thing I definitely want to talk about is Star Trek Prodigy. And then I'm going to go from there and just kind of talk about whatever you guys want to talk about. Man, why is my nose so itchy right now? I don't know. It's driving me crazy. Anyways, so the Expanse series finale. What did I think? It was pretty good. It was good. Was it epic? No. I honestly would preferred the penultimate episode to the finale. What I said about the penultimate episode is that it really was very effective at getting me pumped for the finale, but I feel like the level of how pumped I was did not equate to how epic the finale was. But it's not terrible. I'm not saying it's bad. I'll give you my rating up top. I'm giving it an 8. I was actually torn between a 7 and an 8 out of 10, or maybe a 7.5. I think I talked myself into an 8 ultimately, and I'll tell you why it got raised up to an 8 instead of a 7. But I didn't think it was truly epic, and I don't think it's one of, like Mark said, it's one of the top 3 series finales. No, it's in the upper echelon of series finales for me. Most series finales sucked. I was thinking about other series finales I've seen recently in the last like 4 years or so. And definitely a lot better than Mr. Robot. I was very disappointed in Mr. Robot series finale. Goes without saying that all series finales are light years better than the Game of Thrones series finale. So I don't really even have to say that. But I was thinking Dark, which is a show I really loved. I would take their series finale over Expanse, and maybe this will be controversial, but I would take the Leftover series finale over the Expanse. So it's definitely not like a top 3 series finale, but it's pretty good. It's still one of the upper echelons of series finales. And I'm just going to jump into the chat for a second. Maddie said, I've seen very little Prodigy, but hope the kids enjoy it. Yeah, the kids probably enjoy it, and that's the problem with it. Brandon, not your thing. Yeah, I'm kind of with you on this, but I'm going to give it the whole season, which is 20 episodes total, before I stop watching it. But I'm going to get more into Prodigy. Let me get back to The Expanse. So yeah, it's good. It was good. It was good, but not epic. And let me start with what I did really love about the finale. And by the way, I am assuming this is a series finale for now. I know in my brother's video, he was like, well, maybe it's not. We don't know if it's a series. Well, just for simplicity's sake, I'm just going to assume it's the series finale. And I think it probably will be. I think if we do get adaptations of the other books, it'll either be miniseries or movies, or maybe a sequel series, which will start over again with its own season 1. So I think it probably was the series finale for this iteration of The Expanse. But regardless, I'm just going to assume that it was, and I'm going to approach it as if it is a series finale. And what I loved about it was the character interactions, first of all. Got some great ones with Bobby and Amos again, with Holden and Naomi, with Holden and Eversarella, Naomi and Clarissa. That was really great to see that she's finally accepted Clarissa. I thought that was beautiful. Just character interactions all throughout this episode were good. And then the best part was the last 10 minutes of the episode. So spoilers, once again, spoilers for the Expanse series finale. I'm going to spoil it. I'm about to talk about the last 10 minutes of it. And I'll be perfectly honest with you, if these last 10 minutes did not exist, if it just ended right after Marco's demise, I would not have thought this was a very good episode. I would have been like, Just gave it an 8 out of 10. I think it's more like a 5 out of 10 or lower without the last 10 minutes. The last 10 minutes is what really elevates the episode for me. So we're starting with the introduction of the trade union, and that whole conversation that they have around the table was gold, and how they all looked over at Holden. That was great. And when Holden goes up there and it goes off the teleprompter and says, so my first action is to resign. And so the drummer is the new president of the trade union. And I was like, yes! Like, that was so good. That was badass. I loved that so much. Loved it. And I loved how he talked Eversarella into like not doing anything about it. I loved it. Fantastic. And then we get the very ending scene. I think the very, very last scene of a series in the series finale is very important. I think it can sometimes make or break a finale, or in some cases make the finale not as bad, which I think was in the case of Lost, which I have a lot of issues with the Lost finale. particularly with the flash sideways bullshit and the going to the church and all that nonsense. But the very last scene was mirrored the very opening scene of the series, where Jack is laying in the jungle and he opens his eyes. Here, Jack is laying in the jungle and he closed his eyes. I thought that saved the series finale for me and made it not terrible, just mediocre. Other things also saved it, not just that. But the last scene is important. And for me, the all-time greatest last scene of a series is Picard playing poker with the crew and the Next Generation. That's the best. This close second. This is a close second. This is a very good last scene for The Expanse. It was just very appropriate, very fitting. Like having Naomi and Holden snuggle and Naomi giving a speech. I mean, that's a very appropriate ending for The Expanse. And it was a very beautiful speech. And I love the irony and that they were showing the Philip scenes and how Philip is escaping. Like, remember, spoilers. I hope nobody's being spoiled by this. But like how Philip escaped, and they were showing that. And it was kind of ironic that she was talking about, how can you really make a difference in people's lives and all this, and not realizing that she made a difference in Philip's life. I loved it. Which, by the way, though, I knew Philip escaped, because you know why? Because when they showed the end of Marco, like they showed Marco dying, they didn't show Philip at all. I'm like, oh, he's alive. He's totally alive. But anyway, the ending scene again. Chef's kiss, perfect ending scene. So it's that ending scene is why it's an 8. The ending scene and the Holden with the trade union thing is why it's an 8 and not like a 5 or something like that, because it's just magnificent. Let me jump back into the chat. What do we got? You're asking if you can call me the Cab Sav Queen. How about you can call me that for this video? Don't just go around calling that in general. It'll probably get old. But for tonight, I am the Cab Sav Queen. Okay, so, and Brandon, I know you're a book reader. There's one scene that I really didn't like, and I think it has to do with my perspective of not being a book reader. I think influenced it, but I'm going to get to that later. I'm not going to start with that. I actually want to start with a scene that I mostly loved, but there were things about it that bothered me. And I'm going to start with the Rosinante going in and trying to, take down the railgun, and Amos and Bobby going down there. There was a lot to love. I found this very exciting. I love the visuals of it. Looked like a bunch of storage units being dropped down, and how it was all very exciting, and how it ended up. Oh, there was 20% of us should get. Only 20% of us should die, and then and it was more than that. And Amos had that line about Naomi's math, which was kind of cool. And I love Amos and Bobby in this, and how they were just like, you know what, fuck this. If we're gonna die like facing the fire. We're gonna go in head first, and then how Bobby like leaped up ahead of him. I loved all of this. Very exciting. I was like engaged. I was into it. It was very exciting. But then every once in a while, I get taken out of it because it looked like a fucking video game. And I don't play video games really, at least not modern ones. I might, indulge in some Super Mario Brothers or Mega Man every once in a while, but not the modern ones. However, I've seen a ton of commercials for video games, and it looked like I was watching a commercial for a video game. Particularly, I'm talking about when you see Bobby's point of view. She had a little view screen on. It looked exactly like your point of view from a video game, or at least what I've seen on the commercials. And there's one scene in particular that really took me out of it, is when Bobby was laying on the ground and Amos ends up saving her, which should have been a really great scene. But right before Amos comes and saves her, you see this guy like coming in from the sky going beep, beep, beep on her little radar. And I'm like, it's a fucking video game. Why are they making me watch a video game? So it took me out of the story. So that scene where Amos comes and saves her, like I was still like reeling over the fact that I'm watching a fucking video game. So why do they have to have the visuals look like that? or for me, a video game commercial, because that's what I know video games from, is the commercials that I've seen, and like really took me out of it. So I have overall mixed feelings about this whole thing. And on one hand, most of it was really exciting, really great character stuff between Bobby and Amos, really great visuals when they were attacking and dropping all the storage units on it. It was really exciting, but I wish they didn't keep taking me out of it by making me feel like I'm watching a video game commercial. So I have very mixed feelings about that whole thing. Now, I want to also talk about, basically my favorite parts are the non-battle scenes in this episode, character interactions, and the ending scenes there. But so my brother said that, don't worry, this won't be rushed. As coming from the perspective of book readers, like they have enough time, this won't be rushed. And I ain't gonna lie, I was a little rushed. I definitely felt like a lot of the scenes they went by too quickly. I was like, wait, that's it? The whole thing with Drummer and Walker and Marco, I loved all of that. The concept of it, at least, that Marco's ship was disguised as a freighter, and how they weren't expecting it, and they totally dominate them, and Drummer tries to do the suicide run, but Walker beats her to it and does some damage to his ship. I liked all that. It just went by. It just happened so quickly. I was like, it just felt not satisfying. I was like, that's it. That's it. Like I don't know. I just felt like there should have been more. And Brandon says, I really enjoyed the Clarissa stuff myself. And yeah, that is one thing I did say I did enjoy. I did like the Clarissa stuff for sure. So yeah, I don't know. It felt rushed. I'm not going to lie. It felt rushed. And then my least favorite part of the whole thing, and this probably does have a lot to do with not being a book reader, is that I found Marco's demise extraordinarily anticlimactic and very disappointing. When it was over, I was like, what? That's it? After all this, that's it? And if you've read the books, you knew how he was going to die. So you knew that was coming. So you expected it. For me, I didn't know what was going to happen. So for me, I needed more. I needed more than that. I needed it to be personal. I was kind of thinking about this. What did I want? Did I want it to be like a Wrath of Khan-esque, like battle between Marco and Holden, where he goes, "Revenge is a dish best served cold." You know, not exactly that, but I mean, kind of. Like I wanted it to be a little more personal, like between Marco and Holden and Marco and Naomi. I wanted there to be. I wanted a climatic final battle, is what I wanted. That whole thing went by way too quickly. Like from the moment that the Rocinante crew realizes their situation and they're trying to figure out what to do, through the moment that Marco perishes, way too quick. Like it was extraordinarily disappointing, and I felt a great emptiness inside after it was over. I was like, really? That's it? So that's why this episode is not epic. That's why this episode is not a 10 for me. This is extraordinarily disappointing. And I do realize that if you read the books, then you know that's coming. Now, my brother mentioned as a book reader that he was a little disappointed in because in the books, it took them, they were like down there, the Rosinante crew, figuring out what to do for like 2 weeks. So there was a lot more buildup. And he said, it didn't need them to be there for 2 weeks, but maybe a little more buildup. And I agree with that. I would just expand on that to include Marco's death. That the whole thing, looking at it as a whole, was way too quick. There was no buildup, no climax. It was just all of a sudden he's dead. And I was like, what? That's all I get? No. After 2 seasons of having to watch this fucking asshole who I don't like as a character, not the, you love to hate him sort of thing, but just like, I don't think he was a very good character. After like 2 full seasons of watching this asshole, like that's all I get. It was completely unsatisfying. So that Oh yeah, Brandon said that's the line from Hell's Heart. I stab at thee. No, I didn't really want Marco to say that. Or I didn't want a duplicate of Wrath of Khan. I'm kind of being a little silly there. The fact that they had, I would have been like, why are they ripping off Wrath of Khan? This is dumb. But I just wanted a more of a personal battle between Marco and Holden and Marco and Naomi. Like I wanted it to be a little more personal. I don't know. I just felt like it happened too quickly and is extraordinarily disappointing. Okay, Brandon says, I need to watch the episode again before I make up my mind. I mean, I know Mark loved it. But I do think that my disappointment in Marco's ending is contributed by the fact that I didn't know what was happening. And I don't know that if every non-book reader will see it that way. I'm interested to see what Darren has to say about it tonight. He is also a non-book reader. Maybe he loved it too. But I do think that that influenced my expectations. Like I if you've read the books, you know exactly what to expect. And I didn't know exactly what to expect. So I had better expectations than what we got. Okay. I'm going to drink a little bit more. I'm going to pour a little bit more wine. Here's my wine. I'm going to pour a little bit. Because I am Alyssa Jean, the Cab Sav Queen, tonight. Cheers, everybody. Cheers. Brandon says, we're not Mark, though. He's the optimistic one. He is with the Expanse. Flip it over to Star Trek Discovery, and I'm the optimistic one. but with the Expanse, yes, he's more the optimistic one. I knew after I watched it that he would give it a 10 and say it's the greatest thing ever because he loves the Expanse just in general. But and also because I knew that he knew how Marco was going to die, and he wouldn't probably share that disappointment with me. Mark, by the way, said he probably wouldn't be able to join me live, but he'll watch this in the archives. So, hi, Mark, watching in the archives. I will probably try to join you guys for a little bit in the chat when they do their live chat and just talk about how epic the finale is. I wonder what Rob's going to say too. So I'll be very curious. All right. Shall we talk about some Prodigy and why I don't like it? So the reason why I wanted to actually talk about Prodigy is because I was chatting with Mark a little bit in the comments of his review for last week's episode, not this week's, but last week's, the one with all the fan service, but also some really setting up for some really interesting mystery, perhaps. He asked me on behalf of Norman Buckwald, who is a subscriber of mine and a patron of his, a longtime subscriber for both of us, going back to my Acton Tomko days. Norman Buckwald asked him to ask me if that episode changed my opinion on the show. No, it did not. My opinion has always been that it has potential to be better than what it is. I've always said that. But what I will say is that for me, the Star Trek Prodigy, the quality maxes out like in a pie in the sky dream, like it's the best it ever could possibly be. It's the pie in the sky dream for Prodigy is a 7 out of 10. Like if it really is the best it could, reaches its full potential and is the best it could ever possibly be, it's a 7 out of 10. And let me be clear, it's not a 7 out of 10 now. That is the best it could ever be if it fulfills all of its hopes and dreams and as good as it could possibly ever be. Right now, I would call it a 4. But that's an improvement. At the beginning of the season, I would have called it a 1. So it's slowly climbed up to a 4. 7 is like the dream. And the reason why I can never go beyond a 7 in my eyes is a lot to do with the characters that are made for 5-year-olds. And they always will be. And there's nothing you can do about that. It's a show made for 5-year-olds. So you have Rock Top as a character made for 5-year-olds. I'm not a fucking 5-year-old, so I don't like that character. And I got to be careful about my wording because I'm not trying to insult my brother or Norman or other people who may like that character. This is my perspective. If your perspective is that Rock Top is not too much like a 5-year-old character and you like him, that's your perspective, and I don't mean to insult that. I'm just saying from my point of view, I'm not a fucking 5-year-old, and this character is made for 5-year-olds. Same with Jacob Pod. Reminds me of a character in a Saturday morning cartoon from back in the day. Not for adults. And Murph, I know my brother loves Murph. I'll tell you what, Murph would be really great comic relief if the rest of the cast of characters were legitimate characters and not made for 5-year-olds. I would like Murph as a comic relief sort of character, but kind of with Jacob Pod and Rock Top, he contributes to making me feel like I'm watching a show for 5-year-olds. So Dal has room for improvement, and he has proven over the last couple episodes that he can actually grow as a character. If he grows as a character enough to where he's no longer obnoxious, he could be a decent character in the end. He has been extraordinarily obnoxious through the first 5 episodes, but he seems to be improving. So the jury is still out on Dal. And then Zero and Gwen, I think, are the only good characters. And then, of course, you've got your cartoonish villain, the Diviner. And, of course, he's a cartoonish villain because it's a cartoon. So you can have a cartoonish villain. So it's a fucking cartoon. So that is why, like, at best, it could be a 7 out of 10. And what a 7 out of 10 would look like for me is if this mystery really pans out, like it's a really interesting mystery and I'm really engaged in it. I'm really interested by it. And if Dal turns into a good character. And one other factor, which I'll get to in a second, but I want to see what people are saying in the chat. If we see promoted Harry Kim, I'd be more into it. Who knows? I mean, we've seen Chakotay, so maybe we'll see promoted Harry Kim. I mean, they fucking promoted Sonia Gomez to captain on Lower Decks, so why can't we see Captain Harry Kim show up? If not on this show, then Lower Decks, he should be. All right, let's see. And Manchester also says, honestly, on Picard, Lower Decks Prodigy, don't care. Just give me the man. Pip, damn it. Man, another Pip. Oh, Harry Kim. Yeah. Just give. By now he should have, like, if you're talking about Picard, he should have another 3 Pips. Like, he should be captain. I guess if you're looking at Lower Decks, which is not that much in the future, maybe he wouldn't have gone all the way up to captain yet, but at least commander, lieutenant commander at the minimum by Lower Decks. Anyways, Brandon says, I watched episode 1 and Dal was just so annoying, was the main reason I switched off. Extraordinarily annoying. He was that way through the first 5 episodes. He's showing a little bit of signs of character growth, but he needs to, like, shed all of his annoyingness before in order for the show to reach its maximum potential of a 7 out of 10. That would be one of the things. Patty Jester says, I assume you're referring to Harry Kim. He should be Admiral of the Universe by now. Are we going to get Admiral Harry Kim and Picard? Who knows? I don't know. We might. So then there's the other factor that is very important for it to be a 7 out of 10. And this is the thing my brother actually did complain about in his latest review. And that is that they seem to not give a flying fuck about universe building, world building. And they do not care if you can have a Ferengi who lived in the Delta Quadrant and raised Dal as a child in the Delta Quadrant. And then they zoom over to the Gamma Quadrant, and that same Ferengi from the Delta Quadrant is there. In fact, that's the first person they happen to run into. And the Gamma Quadrant is a Ferengi from the Delta Quadrant, and we still don't even know why the Ferengi was in the Delta Quadrant to begin with. And then the way that I am looking at it is they do not give a flying fuck about where, like, space, where people are, where characters are in space. Like, they do not care about world building at all. at all. This is Littlefinger's magic teleporter on crack. And yes, I know that the Protostar had that drive that took them across the galaxy, but what about everyone else? And then at the end, the Ferengi woman sees the bounty from the Diviner, who should be way the fuck far away on the Delta Quadrant, so she shouldn't see that bounty. So they don't give a fuck. So what this is saying to me, if the writers are saying, you know what? This is a kid's show. Kids aren't going to know about any of this stuff. And they're not going to care about any of this stuff. So fuck it. Why should we care? So we're just going to make this for kids. So what they're essentially saying to me is, Alyssa, this show is not for you. And so if they're saying to me, this show is not for you, and I'm going to say, okay, fuck you. I'm not going to watch it then because you've told me it's not for me. It's for little kids who do not care about world building at all and don't care if you can zoom from the Delta Quadrant to the Gamma Quadrant and see the same character who's from the Delta Quadrant who should be from the Alpha Quadrant. We don't care about any of that stuff. Who cares? We can just do whatever the fuck we want. Littlefinger's magic teleporter on crack. So that is what this is. And if they do not fix this, there's no chance of it being a 7 out of 10. If this continues on, it's a 5 at maximum, and I'm already calling it a 4, so it would only be able to move up one more number to a 5 if the mystery was interesting, if Dal is interesting. 5 would max out if they don't fix the world building thing in the future. If they continue to do that, it's a 5 at absolute best. Absolute best. Because that is telling me they're definitely gearing this show to kids, and they definitely don't care about me watching it, or not just me personally, but adult Trekkies, lifelong Trekkies. And I'm giving it to the end of the first season, as I said earlier. So after the first 20 episodes, if this is still the case, I'm going to say, see ya, not watching this shit anymore, because you have made it clear that this show is not for me. You've communicated that loud and clear. The show is meant for kids. Kids don't know about the Gamma Quadrant and the Delta Quadrant and the Alpha Quadrant, so we don't care about any of that. So you don't care about me, so fuck you. I'm not watching the show anymore. But I will give it to the end of the first season before I make that judgment. So we'll see. We'll see. If they're able to fix that and they end up as a 6 or 7 by my eyes, then I probably will go on to season 2. Especially if it's a 7 and they fix that problem, they make Dal's character better, and the mystery of the Protostar ends up paying off, then I will go on to season 2. But we'll see. We'll see. They're in the trial run for me right now. They're in the 20 episode trial. So we'll see what happens. Let me jump back into the chat. Let's see. Let me go back up. Admiral Harry Kim of Laconia. Yeah. I saw episode 1 on YouTube, Maddie Jester says, but other than that, I'm just seeing clips on social media. If it perks me up, I may watch more, but yeah, Trek social media will let me know if there's anything mind-blowing. There's never going to be anything mind-blowing in the show, I promise you. There never will be. I am watching it strictly because it has the word Star Trek in the title. And I'm giving it 1 season to prove that it's not just a kid show, that there is something in it for me. I don't feel like right now there is something in it for me. But we'll see. We'll see. Brandon Howes, I've missed you saying things like, I don't give a flying fuck. What? What? I don't say that anymore? Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's because I'm getting a little rowdy. Let me pour a little bit more wine. I don't know. I have some other things I could talk about, but did you guys have any questions or anything else you want to talk about before I move on to something else that I want to talk about? Give me a second. I'm drinking some wine. Oh, wait. Looks like there's some new comments and I'm missing here. Okay. Hold on. Oh, no. There's a whole bunch of comments I didn't see. Continuity? Screw that. Brandon says. Maddie says, if they're in the Gamma Quadrant, I'm not sure if the Jim Hadar will fit a kid's show. No, there's no... They said they were in the Gamma Quadrant. Well, no, it said that on a map that they traveled to. Like when they traveled to wherever they went. It said on the map they were in the Gamma Quadrant, but other than that, there is no indication whatsoever that they're in the Gamma Quadrant. So I don't think we're going to see the Jim Hadar. What else? Or the Hirogen. Kids should watch the Raccoons. That show is an absolute banger. I don't have kids, so I don't know that show, but I'll take your word on it. 20 episode trial. How strict are you, Alyssa? Well, I want to give it one season, one full season. I want to see the full season play out. And 20 episodes is what the first season is going to be, unfortunately. So I do want to give it one full season to see what they do with this mystery, to see if they can make Dal a better character. So yeah, don't think of it as 20 episodes. Think of it as one season. I'm giving it a one season trial. And Maddie's asking me, are you planning on doing an Enterprise rewatch? Yes, I am. But I can't. I found it really hard to struggle through seasons 6 and 7 of Voyager. So I need a break before I try to go into seasons 1 and 2 of Enterprise, which are arguably worse. Mark told me that when he did his rewatch, getting through seasons 1 and 2 of Enterprise was a struggle. Like, it's really painful. So I'm not looking forward to that. So I just want to get to season 3. But if I'm going to do it, I'm going to do the whole thing. Like, I'm not going to just skip to season 3. So I need a break. So I'm not ready to get into that yet. What I'm watching now is Daredevil, because I've never watched the Netflix show Daredevil. So that's what I'm binging right now. And then as far as Star Trek goes, I'm doing the movies. So I'm watching the movies. So that's the thing with that. Brandon says, I enjoyed your Star Trek. Oh, speaking of that, I enjoyed your Star Trek the Motion Picture review. I'll leave a few personal thoughts at you at some point. And I enjoyed your little rant that you posted on you commented on, even though you said you copied and pasted it from another review 4 years ago. Still very relevant. So I definitely enjoyed your rant on that. And Brandon says 20 episode, dear God. The Pinsky Files have nearly finished Enterprise. I'm so glad it's nearly over. I will admit, I do not understand you and Mark's infatuation with the Pinsky Files. I don't know. I don't want to insult other YouTubers. It's not an insult. I just strongly disagree. Mark told me he doesn't watch Trek Culture because he disagrees with them. I disagree with the Pinsky Files way more than Trek Culture. Like, the Trek Culture likes the Borg Queen, which is annoying. But other than that, I disagree with Jessie Gender. Jessie Gender thinks the Enterprise theme song is good, but I still watch her because I like a lot of what she says. But the Pinsky File, or particularly Wes, Mark and I did a discussion with him, and I just disagree with him. His opinion is just so opposite of mine, and it's not personal. Like, I don't have any disrespect for him as a human being. It would just be hard for me to watch something that's so opposite of my opinion. That's all. I don't mean any insult or anything personal. I just so strongly disagree with his opinion on Star Trek. Anyways, I digress. Brandon says ranting is one of my talents. Yeah, I've noticed that. You do seem to do a good rant. Manny Jester says, any more theories about Discovery? Now we're in a mid-season break. Will Book go ahead with the attack plan? I'll answer that in a second. Let me just finish up these other comments you guys put in there. I'll think he'll be back down in the end. The Enterprise theme song, vomit emoji. Yes. It's been a very long road between you and I, Brandon. A very long road from here and there. From there to here. Sorry. Yeah, the Enterprise theme song is absolute bollocks. Yeah. So about Discovery, will Book go ahead with the attack plan? Looks like he is, based on the trailer, that him and Tarka are full steam ahead with that. I think it's going to set up for a very interesting episode with Burnham being forced to stop her lover. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I think it'll be very interesting. I don't really have much theories beyond that. I just hope it doesn't suck. That's all. I'm just kind of waiting for a little bit of disappointment with Discovery. Like, and I have been on record as saying I like Discovery overall. I think it's a pretty good show, decent show. I do think, though, that it has shown me flashes of potential to be a great show and never lives up to it. Always brings me back down, always disappoints me, has not proven to be a great show yet. And this is the most hopeful I've ever been. That last episode was fucking fantastic. Like, it's just people sitting around talking, and I was engaged and immersed in it, and it was amazing. One of the best. It might be the best episode of Discovery, or at least one of the best. So I don't know. I'm a little worried that I have my hopes up too high, and then they'll just end up disappointing me. But as far as specific theories, I don't really have any. I just hope it doesn't suck. That's all. I hope that whoever's behind the DMA it's something interesting. It's not something too cliche, and it's not like, last year's one. And I didn't hate last year's one as much as others did, but it was a little disappointing. Let's be real. What else? The Enterprise theme song is why they built the skip button. Okay, so here's the thing, Brandon. Here's another reason I'm not looking forward to watching Enterprise, is that it is no longer on Netflix. It is on Paramount Plus. You know what Paramount Plus doesn't have? The fucking skip intro button. It doesn't have it, and not that I've ever seen. Anyway, Amazon has it, Netflix has it. Paramount Plus, as far as I've seen, doesn't have the skip intro option. And don't get me wrong, I'm not going to sit through it. It's just going to be a pain in the ass. I'm going to have to fast forward, and I'm going to always fast forward too far, and I'm going to have to rewind it back again, and it's going to be annoying. It's just going to be annoying. But I'm not going to fucking sit through that theme song. But not having the little button that I can push that says skip intro is going to be irritating. So unless Amazon or Hulu don't still have it, I think I heard that eventually, like, all Star Trek is just going to end up on Paramount Plus. Right now, Netflix is down to just Next Generation and Deep Space Nine. They've gotten rid of everything else. And I've heard that Hulu was getting rid of all their Trek. So eventually it's all going to be on Paramount Plus only. So somebody needs to tell Paramount Plus to invent the fucking skip intro button. It's not that hard. I may wait a little bit and see if they do add that feature before I start watching Enterprise. And again, I'm not going to sit through the theme song. It's just going to be annoying because I'm always going to fast forward too far and then have to rewind back. It's irritating. So, and that's going to make my experience of watching a really bad pair of seasons even more irritating. It's already going to be irritating. So why am I doing this to myself? Like, it's just like okay. My ultimate dream, my ultimate goal is to do a top 100 Star Trek episodes, but only with the original 5 series, only series that have completed their runs. So I'm not going to include Discovery or Strange New Worlds or Picard or Lower Decks. Only the original 5, and not the animated series, only because nothing in the animated series would make my top 100, because I only saw it for the first time last year, and I don't have that nostalgia. I haven't watched it for years and years, and I found the animated series to be very solidly mediocre. So the animated series is only out of my top 100 because nothing would make my top 100 from that series. But ultimately, this is my goal. This is what I want to do. It would be split up over several videos. I haven't decided how many videos yet. But it wouldn't be one like 5-hour video. I would split it up over a period of time. But in order to do that, I have to first watch the 4 seasons of Enterprise, and then I have to do my least favorite Enterprise episode video and my favorite Enterprise episode video. So I have to do that first. So we're talking probably 2023 for my top 100. That's what we're talking about. So that's my goal. But I have to get through Enterprise in order to reach that goal. So I'm going to have to suffer. It's going to be suffering through the first 2 seasons of Enterprise. Okay, so let's see what you all are talking about in the chat. Maddie Jester saying, please God, a good ending to a season of Discovery. Red Angel was lame. Burn was lame. Please stick the landing this time. That would be nice. We'll see. Brendan Howes at Maddie Jester. Let's you and I be Alyssa's international fan club. What do you think, mate? Sure, I'm in the English chapter. I know Alyssa I do watch Paramount Plus now and then. Yeah, you guys want to start my international fan club? I don't have a domestic fan club, so you can just be the international fan club. Totally cool. I could just be a fan club in general, and so people in the US could join too. I've got the Enterprise Blu-ray box set. It has some great documentaries on there. I'd listen to John Billingsley all day long. I like John Billingsley a lot. Dr. Phlox is probably one of the best characters on that show. Complete side note, I saw a rumor that T'Pol might show up in Strange New Worlds, which she could because Vulcans live so long that she could be an old lady in Strange New World times. So I don't know. It might be cool. It might be interesting. I'd much rather that than a fucking Captain Kirk cameo. Please don't have Captain Sulu and come on. You've got Spock. That's enough. Anyways, let's see. Brandon House says the Australian chapter. Yep, cool. Phlox is arguably the only character with character on Enterprise. Not a totally controversial statement. Definitely arguably so. Maddie Jester, top 100 Star Trek episodes. That sounds good. No room for rivals. Now, rivals would be if I did the other, like if I did the top 100 worst or least favorite. And I don't think I'm going to go into that because that'll be painful. So I think it'd be more fun just to do my favorite or the best. Rivals would be in the top 10 worst. Without question. Easily. Where did I leave off? Get out of my head about the suffering. Are you talking about the how it's been a long road from there, getting from there to here? I saw that. Yeah, why not? As long as they give her a decent outfit. Oh, about T'Pol. Yeah. I wonder what. Yeah, I wonder what she'd be wearing in the future. Yeah, that might be interesting. Yeah, I wonder what kind of outfits they would give her. Hopefully better than what she had on Enterprise, for sure. Maddie Jester should have just had a Starfleet uniform. Yeah, for real. And Brandon says, I like controversy, Alyssa. Oh, about my comment that it's not. Well, I was saying your comment is not controversial. The Phlox is arguably the only character with character. I don't see how a lot of people can really dispute that reasonably. I mean, you could argue that he isn't, but I mean, I like you can see where you're coming from with that. Let's see. T'Pol looks really good in uniform. She does, but I see where Maddie Jester is coming from, that she could use it better. I would like to see her dress better. Yeah, in a better uniform. Yeah. But I like T'Pol. Yeah, for sure. All right. Alrighty. What should we talk about next? I have a topic in mind. I don't know if you two in particular are interested in this topic, so I don't know. I could talk about Boba Fett because I've been watching Boba Fett. I don't know if you guys are I don't think Brandon's a Star Wars person. I don't know about you, Maddie. But I'm gonna drink some wine. If you guys have other things you want to talk about, Star Trek related or whatever, let me know. I'm not leaving until this bottle is finished. No, I'm kidding. I've only drank like half the bottle. I think, and I'm not drinking constantly because I also have to talk. So this will be like a 4-hour video, and I know you guys need to get to, or at least I know that Brandon at least will want to get to Mark's discussion, which is an hour and 9 minutes from right now on the Expanse. Brandon says, I'm hearing to see your lovely face and listen to you talk about anything. Well, thank you, Brandon. That's very sweet. That deserves a toast. Toast to you. How's your cheap lager going, Manny? Pretty good. And what did you say you were drinking, Brandon? I forget already. I'm gonna scroll all the way up. Cider. Okay, cool. I haven't seen the new Boba Fett show, Maddie says, but Star Wars is fine. Is it worth watching the new show? Depends on who you ask. If you ask me, yes. I would say the majority of people like it. There's definitely hate out there for it. And three of my YouTube friends, Darren, Rob, and Dawn, all do a discussion every week. And I only watched a little bit of their discussion last week, and my God, do they hate it. All three of them hate it. And I talked to Darren a little bit after our Expanse discussion last week after we went off the air, and he reemphasized that he hates it. But I definitely feel like they're in the minority, but not the only ones. There are other people who have given it hate. And this past week episode has gotten some hate. But I feel at least amongst the YouTube channels that I watch and the podcasts that I listen to and articles that I read, I feel like it's mostly very positive. And my personal opinion is positive, especially when in comparison to The Mandalorian. I think The Mandalorian personally is extraordinarily overrated. I think it's mediocre at best. I think it's too much of a Western. I think it's too much of the same storyline over and over again, where Mando goes to a planet, fights with somebody, ends up teaming up with them, and then the two of them end up saving a bunch of people from some outside threat. That's happened like 5 times in The Mandalorian. I don't think The Mandalorian is a particularly great show. I don't know why everyone acts like it is, although the very, very end of season 2 with that special cameo was fantastic. But other than that, Mandalorian is a mediocre show. Boba Fett is better to me so far. Boba Fett feels more Star Wars-y to me. I like that we're getting more into we got a little more backstory of the Tusken Raiders. I find all that very interesting. We're getting a little bit more of a look into kind of the crime lords of it all, just kind of the crime world, and getting a little look into that. And I'm here for it. I like it. I'm not bothered by the fact that the whole thing is on Tatooine. Tatooine is like the center of the Star Wars universe. I'm fine with that. We're probably going to see Tatooine a lot again in the Obi-Wan show. I'm totally fine with that. And I'm pretty sure we saw Tashi Station. I'm going to go to Tashi Station. Well, I really want to go to Tashi Station to pick up some power converters. My brother posted a thing on his Enchantment of Eternity Facebook page with Mark Hamill at a gas station that said Tashi. So it said, after all these years, Tashi Station. And I commented that I had actually heard that the place that Boba Fett goes to in episode 2, where he like beats up all those like motorcycle gang dudes and like takes all their motorcycles, that was Tashi Station. I didn't catch that in the show, but I saw that on one of the YouTube channels I watched. They were like, oh, he went to Tashi Station. I didn't see the power converter pickup counter, so I'm not convinced that it was Tashi Station, because where you're supposed to get your power converters, or to pick up your power converters more specifically. I don't know. I'm not convinced it's Tashi Station. What else do we have in the chat? Manny Jester saying it's going down well. Alyssa, answering my question about the cheap lager. I'm really a cheap date, to be honest. Expensive craft beers aren't my bag. I like the breweries. I live in a city that has a lot of breweries, so I like good beer. I will admit I am not much of a cheap beer type of person. Cheaper wine, and when I say cheap wine, it's not like the cheap wine, like the cheap wine, like what's the one from Australia that you can get everywhere with a picture of the kangaroo on it? I'm blanking on the name. Like, that stuff sucks. But I mean, like, not cheap wine, but like not super expensive wine. So like kind of, I'm more of the $10 to $14 a bottle range. And I don't know, I ordered from this wine club and it claims that a lot of the bottles are like, oh, this is $35 normally, but we're selling it for 12. I don't know if that's for real or not. So I go by the fact that I paid 12 for it. Um, so I'm kind of in that range, not like cheap wine. But as far as beer goes, can't do the cheap beer. Sorry. I may as well just go and piss in a cup and mix it with water and drink that. And I'm sorry. And I'm not trying to insult anyone who likes cheap beer. That's just me, what it tastes like to me. I can't do cheap beer. There's all kinds of really great IPAs around here, but in the summer or in the winter, rather, I'm definitely much more of a stout and porter drinker, the really dark stuff. And Guinness is not a stout. Guinness is water. This is not a stout. Everyone thinks of Guinness as a stout. It's not. It's water. It's very, very watered down. That's not a real stout. I'm sorry, but the UK doesn't know how to make beer by my tastes. There's just no hops in it. It's just not hoppy. However, I went to Scotland like 10 years ago, and the whiskey way better than what I can get in the US. The whiskey is fantastic. So I drank only whiskey when I was in Scotland. I tried to drink the beer, but there's no flavor. There's no hops in it. No hops in it. Anyways, I am getting very distracted. More comments in the chat from my good buddies, Brandon and Maddie. Brandon says, Brandon is not sure if he can sit in front of the PC4 for 4 straight hours. Oh, you mean like if I were to keep going and then you would go right into Mark's thing? Yeah. I'll give you a break. I've been going a good hour almost, so I'll try to stop fairly soon so that you can have a break. Maddie says, I've met the late Jeremy Bullock, original Boba Fett. He was a lovely chap. Oh, cool. Yeah. Cool. Yeah, they've kind of retconned in. Oh, God, what the fuck was his name? The New Zealand dude, who was Jango Fett in episode 2, and they made all the clones out of him, and Boba Fett was a younger clone version of him, so of course it's going to be played by that same actor. Yeah, he's good, but definitely you can tell it's, they kind of retconned him in because that's not originally how Boba Fett was. But I'm fine with it. It's fine. All right. And now Brandon, you're talking about old stuff. 1973 Doctor Who episode. Mary Jester. Yeah, okay. I don't have anything to say about old Doctor Who episodes or new Doctor Who episodes for that matter. So you guys go ahead and talk amongst yourselves about that. Let's see. Sorry, I don't know about the drink with the kangaroo label. It could very easily be like just something they only sell in the United States. It's definitely it's like in all the liquor, every single liquor store I've ever been in, and it's always in like the cheap wine section. Like usually you have a shelf of all the cheap wine, and you can get like a giant bottle of it for like $8, and I can't do it. It's just not good. And it's not just that brand; it's just other brands that are in that price range. I can't do it. What the fuck is that called? Why am I forgetting the name of it? Probably because I don't buy it ever, so I don't pay attention to the name of it anymore. But yeah, so the point was I don't go that cheap. I go semi-cheap. I started to drink beer because it was too expensive to drink spirits. Is that what you were trying to say? It looks like it says too experienced, but I assume you mean expensive. I was just talking about this with somebody today that we both need to maybe switch to liquor because it is better for your belly. Like I was trying on a dress today, and the person that I was with told me that it looked good on me, so I ended up getting it. But I was a little self-conscious because it's not very loose; it's kind of tight, and it really shows my beer belly. I have a bit of a beer belly because I drink too much goddamn beer. And I've slowed down for how much beer I drink compared to the past, but I still drink it. So, and I have a beer gut. And I ended up buying this dress because this person, well, I'll just say it, this person is a woman who I have been dating, and I kind of like her, and she said it looked really good on me, so I had to get it. But I was self-conscious that it showed my beer gut too much. But she said it looks good on me, so I was like, okay, well, fine. But I am self-conscious about my beer gut, so I might have to cut back on the beer. I don't know what wine does for a beer gut. It probably is not great because it does have a high sugar content. But I might switch to spirits. Let's see. Tamura Morrison. Oh, Tamura Morrison. Yeah, that's the dude. Tamura. Thank you. That's his name. I like him. I really do. I think he's really great as Boba Fett. I mean, you do recognize that he's retconned in, but I love him a lot. Maddie Jester, that's okay. Amazing food and drink isn't really our forte, but yeah, it's quantity over quality when it comes to beer. Yeah, you do. Are you in England, Maddie? Is I haven't been to England. I went to Scotland once, and the whiskey. We call it Scotch here in the U.S., but over there, it's just called whiskey. You can't call it Scotch because everything is Scotch there. It's just whiskey. But the whiskey was good. Brandon House, it's not a Tasmania Tiger label. I don't know about what it, no, not that. I'm talking about the one with the kangaroo on it. It's like in the cheap wine section of every store every liquor store in the entire United States, or grocery store that sell beer and wine. Yeah, I just I'll think of the name of it as soon as we get off of this. Maddie Jester says it used to work with someone who drank chilled red wine. It confused me a lot as I thought it was supposed to be room temperature. Yeah, that's kind of insane. I don't know what this person was doing. They're doing too many drugs or something. You don't drink chilled red wine. It's got to be room temperature. Brandon says, never worry, I've got a bigger beer gut than you. Well, there's plenty of people who have bigger beer guts than me, but it still doesn't make me less self-conscious about mine. So, but I appreciate that. We live in Worcester. Is how you pronounce it? The place where the sauce comes. Oh, the place where the sauce comes from. I always have a hard time with that. And I used to live in Massachusetts, so there's a town in there called Worcester that I always used to get confused with Worcester, but we call it Worcester because you got to use the Massachusetts accent. Worcester, totally different thing though. Red Kangaroo Wine. They make white wines too. It's like it's God, it's gonna drive me crazy. It's you can buy like a gigantic like bottle of it for like $8. It is not good. And I used to drink it a lot because you could buy like the normal size bottle of it for like $3 or $4. And I used to buy it a lot when I was poor. And now I won't buy it anymore because I can afford $10 to $12 wines at least. God, it's just gonna drive me crazy trying to think of the name of this fucking wine. I'm gonna have to look it up. I don't know how you look it up. Wine with kangaroo, cheap wine with kangaroo on label. Like I don't know. You can get it everywhere. It's like fucking everywhere. Anyways, I keep harping on this, so let's move on. Maybe I should probably go pretty soon so Brandon can have an hour to kind of not stare at a computer screen before joining Mark. I probably want to, eat something before I go and join Mark. Yeah. Yellowtail, maybe? That could be it. It could be Yellowtail. That sounds familiar. I think it might be. Yellowtail. Yeah, I think that's it. I think that is it. Oh, Jeremy or Jerome, sorry, Jerome Giorlando. For real, I didn't know your channel was up. Long time no see, Alyssa. Where have you been? I've been up for so long. I've been up since August. Jerome, my God, I haven't seen you in forever. Subscribe, watch all the stuff that I've done. I don't remember. I think you were a Game of Thrones person. I don't remember if you were a Star Trek person or not. But I got lots of Star Trek stuff up. I've got. I just did my Voyager top 10 favorite, or top 10 least favorite, top 20 favorite. Yeah, and now let's talk about Jerome being here and me thinking of you as a Game of Thrones person. Reminds me of the House Dragon. Let's talk about that briefly because I did a video last week that I released called 5 shows I'm excited for in 2022, 3 I'm not. And one of the 3 I'm not is House of Dragon. And I said in that video, maybe it's a little unfair. It's different showrunners. It's not Dan and Dave, but I'm not excited for it because of the bad taste in my mouth from Game of Thrones and how it ended. And so House of Dragon is going to have to overcome that. Also, I mean, I really enjoyed Fire and Blood. And actually, the best part of that whole book is the Dance of the Dragons. And I think that that's probably what they're focusing on, if I understand. I don't know how that translates to screen, how you can make a show out of it. So I don't know. So I'm a little kind of leery on that. But mostly it's because of how Game of Thrones left a horrible taste in my mouth. And I don't know. The House of Dragon is going to have to work hard to get rid of that taste in my mouth. So we'll see. So I said it as a show I'm not excited about, but I'm open to it really changing my mind. Let's see. Jerome says, I'm not into Star Trek and Expanse, so I haven't been able to tune into Mark's stuff. LOL. Oh, okay. Okay. I thought so. You were more of a Game of the Thrones person. Do you watch Wheel of Time? I did Wheel of Time. I did that. Let's see. Lots of CGI, Alyssa. Wait, hold on. I missed a comment. I signed up for a streaming service which has House of Dragon on it. Lots of CGI. Wait, it's on? It can't be on yet. It doesn't premiere until like later in the year. I didn't think it's released anywhere in the world yet. Are you telling me that you've been able to watch it already? What? Jerome says, I just don't care anymore. The Targaryen history hasn't clicked with me, and it just feels so pointless to me. I hear you. I know. I enjoyed Fire and Blood, and the Dance of the Dragons War was definitely very, very interesting. There's just a lot of different aspects to it, a lot of different characters, a lot of different players. I really found that interesting. I don't know how it translates to screen. I'm going to watch it, but as I said, it was listed among 3 shows I am not that excited for in 2022. Maddie said, never watched Game of Thrones. Everyone told me to watch it. Then those same people hated it later. Maybe it was for the best. Yeah, no, it's an amazing show. For me, I would say through the first 6 seasons. There's some who argue through the first 4 seasons. Some who even argue for the first 3 seasons. But for me, the season 6 finale was the best episode. And in fact, Mark and I, a long time ago, did a user poll based top 10 all-time Game of Thrones episodes, and based on votes from our users, our subscribers, the top 2 were from season 6. So when people say season 6 sucked, not people who watched our channels, because they all said that the top 2 were the last 2 episodes of season 6. So up through season 6, phenomenal show, one of the greatest shows of all time. Then season 7, and I think it gets lost a lot that season 7 was as bad as season 8. People always focus on season 8 and how bad it was, and they forget that season 7 is just as bad. And season 7 is really when the show went downhill. Jerome says, Wheel of Time I've heard of. I'll check it out at some point. Yeah, I mean, I've been having fun revisiting the books. I read the Wheel of Time books 20 years ago, or the first 2 books. There's like 14 of them, and I only read like the first 2. It was a lot of fun revisiting that series. It's not on yet. Don't worry. Okay. I thought you were saying that there's lots of CGI because you're watching it right now. I'm like, what? How can you be watching it right now? Maddie, I briefly thought the show was called We Love Time. I should have been paying more. Oh, We Love Time. That's funny. We love time. We love time. Brandon, I'm worried about Matt Smith playing Daemon Targaryen. I don't know who Matt Smith is. Where else might I know him from? Jerome, I think season 7 was worse. I'm glad you said that because I feel like everyone's like, oh, season 8, season 8, season 8, season 8. And no one ever talks about how bad season 7 was. Yeah, I would still probably say season 8 was worst, but season 7 was bad. Let's not forget that. It was bad. So I think that's really refreshing that you said it was worse. I like that. Season 7 was really horrible. Brandon, you know I don't watch Doctor Who. I just said that earlier in the video. And Doctor Who is just not my thing. Okay. Jerome says, was it you or Mark that watched Better Call Saul? Because I know one of you was into that. It was him. One day I'll get to Better Call Saul. One day. I never have watched it. Mainly because, well, first of all, I wasn't as much of a Breaking Bad fan as he was because I watched Breaking Bad all as a binge after it was off the air, and I liked it. It was a really good show. But I wasn't like a fan, like I'm a Game of Thrones fan or a Star Trek fan, and Mark was with Breaking Bad. I wasn't. Better Call Saul came out, and I'm leery of prequels, so I didn't watch it. And then Mark said, oh, it's really good. You should watch it. And I was like, okay, I'll get around to it. And then I just never, I just keep forgetting. Now I'm watching Daredevil. So I don't know when I'll ever get around to Better Call Saul. Probably never. So The Crown. Nope, never seen The Crown. Jerome Girlando, he was in Last Night in Soho as well, which was great in. Don't know that either. Don't know. I never heard of that. So maybe I've just never seen this Matt Smith person before. And Brandon says, yes, 'twas Mark. 'Twas Mark who watched Better Call Saul, or who watches Better Call Saul. Or watched? I don't know. Did it have its series finale yet? It's got one more season, doesn't it? I don't know. I'm following it. Yeah. He was in the shite Terminator Genesis. Oh, I did see that. No, you know why I watched? Wait. Genesis. Which one was Genesis? Was Genesis the one with Amelia? Why I have a hard time saying her name. Daenerys, Emilia Clarke, or is Genesis the one that came out after that? Because I haven't seen like the newest one, but I saw the one with Emilia Clarke in it. And the only reason I suffered through that movie, because I blame Mark for this, because we did a fucking top 25 like time travel movie, or like where we picked 25 movies that were about time travel and ranked them all, like with me, Mark, and probably Don Willie. I think Don was on that one. And one of the movies that Mark selected all the 25 movies we were going to watch to rank. And one of the movies that he picked was Terminator Genesis. I'm like, why are you going to make me watch, or whatever the one was Daenerys was called. I don't remember if that was Genesis. I was like, why are you going to make me watch this movie? And then I watch it. I'm like, why? Why did you make me do this? Why? I want the 2 hours of my life back. Why? But then, yeah, there's another Terminator movie that came out after that I'm never going to watch. I don't care if Mark does whatever ranking movies and he tries to make me watch that. I'm going to say, no, Mark, no, I'm not watching that. I'm joking because I don't even think Mark has watched that one, whatever the new one is, the newest one. So Jerome says Better Call Saul is ending this year. Maddie says, yep. You mean yep, like Genesis is the one with Daenerys in it? Because I did see that one. That's the one that I saw. And God, that was so painful. I still get mad at Mark for forcing me to sit through that. Not watch a Terminator movie since T3, sensible fellow that I am. That is very sensible. We all should have stopped after T3. T3 was awful. Although the one with what's his nuts? Why am I blanking on his name? Batman. He's always in all the Christopher Nolan movies. Why am I blanking on his name? He's a good actor. Christian Bale. Christian Bale. The one with him in it, I like the concept. It was set completely in the future. They don't travel back in time. So it wasn't as bad as Genesis or some of the other ones, but it wasn't great either. So really stopping after T2 is kind of really the best way to go. It's been progressively worse since then. Maddie just said, "Blimey, that's rough. That movie sucks. I haven't seen the latest Terminator. No idea if it's good or not. Spoiler alert, it sucks." I haven't seen it, but I've heard from people who have seen it, it sucks. And I've seen the previews, it sucks. I've watched the pitch meeting. Sometimes I like to watch pitch meetings. You guys know the pitch meeting, right? On Screen Rant. Actually, it was super easy, barely an inconvenience. I like to watch pitch meetings of bad movies that I never planned to watch. So I watched the pitch meeting of that Terminator movie and I said, my God, does that look horrible? So I never watch it, but I can promise you it sucks. I can promise you that. Without having seen it, I can still guarantee that it sucks. All right, I'm gonna read a couple more comments, and I really should go because I want to eat something, and then I might want to see if I can jump on and join Mark and Darren and Rob in the chat. And I know Brandon wants to join them in the chat. So T1 scared the crap out of me. I was 20 years old. Yeah. Scary movie. Oh, wait. I think I skipped a comment from Jerome. Also, I was with both of you when you both watched Mr. Robot. You might have been the last series I tuned into both your channels for, if I remember correctly. Yeah, I actually brought up the Mr. Robot series finale earlier because I was talking about the Expanse in comparison to, it just had its series finale, and I was talking about it in comparison to other series finales that I've watched recently, and I said definitely put it above the Mr. Robot one, but below the leftovers. Yeah, if it's not a Cameron Terminator, don't watch it. A good rule. Yeah, it's just been a money suck since then. I did kind of like the television series. It's really interesting that both Cersei and Daenerys have played Sarah Connor. So the Terminator, what the fuck was it called? The TV show. I was interested in that. It was completely out of canon. Like, it was completely different from movie canon. But I found it interesting. But the series, we're talking about a bad series finale. That was one where it was canceled in the middle of the season, so they had to whip together a series finale at the last second, and it was terrible. But I did like the show. Was more interesting, better, or more so than any of the crappy movies, even though the canon is completely different. It's definitely a different universe. All right. Brandon says, or first Jerome, you both were the craziest about this finale, Mr. Robot. I love it. Probably my favorite show. Yeah, the Mr. Robot finale did fine with Elliot. There were a couple of things that I didn't like about the Elliot thing, but overall, I think they nailed the Elliot thing pretty well. Completely neglected White Rose and Angela, who were pretty significant characters. Just took a giant jump on White Rose. Didn't like it. Brandon, I'm realizing the desperate stage, alcoholically, sweet vermouth and lemonade, or you're reaching the desperate stage. Sweet vermouth and lemonade. I don't know. I've heard of sweet vermouth. It has the word sweet in it, so I would just stay away from it automatically. But I don't know that I've ever had it. Does sound pretty desperate, actually, Brandon. I ain't gonna lie. Maddie, do you think they will ever make the Michelle Yeoh Section 31 series, or is the pipe dream? I'm not bothered, but they're still talking about it after 4 years. Oh, God, I hope not. Nobody wants this show. Who has ever said, I really want this Section 31 show? No one. No one has said that. Don't make it. Don't. No one wants this show. Don't do it. Don't. And I love Michelle Yeoh. She keeps popping up on all of these different things. She popped up in Shang-Chi. She's popped up. And she's going to be in, they're going to do this Witcher prequel series that Michelle Yeoh is going to be in. She keeps popping up on all these things. I love Michelle Yeoh. No Section 31 prequel, please and thank you. I'll be forced to watch it like I was forced to watch Prodigy because it has the words Star Trek in it. But please, for the love of God, nobody wants to see that. No one. No one. Okay, Brandon says killing Angela was a bad move. Mr. Robot, yes. Brandon, I'm not asking you to partake, fear not. Well, I don't care if you were asking me. I would say, fuck no. So you can't make me do anything. I've got my wine right here. Well, good luck to you with your sweet vermouth and lemonade. I don't know what it is. I just have never tried it because it has the word sweet in it. That's just an automatic turnoff for me when it comes to alcohol. Although I do love me a good margarita, and that's pretty sweet. So there you go. But sweet, your lemonade is also pretty sweet. So sweet vermouth and lemonade. I don't know. Is sweet vermouth actually sweet, or is it just called that? This is one of those things where they just call something that it's actually not. All right. I feel like I should wrap this up pretty soon. This has been a lot of fun. I'm so happy to have you three join me. Brandon and Maddie joining me for the duration, and then Jerome coming in out of left field. I haven't seen Jerome in so long. I'm so happy to see you, Jerome. I don't know, Jerome, if I'm not covering things that you watch, I don't know. I should be pretty soon. I'll do House of Dragon. Do you watch any MCU stuff at all? Are you into Marvel? Do that? I don't know. I want you on my channel because you are always a great commenter and subscriber. So yeah, Jerome Vermouth. Sorry, whatever. Vermouth. I don't care. I'm never gonna drink it. Jerome says, glad I was able to hop on before you left. I was able to see your transition videos, and I'm so happy to see you progress. Very proud of you. Thank you, Jerome. Yeah, have you watched all of them? Yeah, you can watch my transition videos. I've done a few of them. I will do another one. I'm doing monthly videos when I talk about my transitions. I'll do another one next week, next Friday. Friday is when I drop all my new videos. So I got another one coming. Thanks, Friday. So next Friday's drop will be no more Star Trek. But I'll do my transition video, my monthly transition video, and I'm going to rank the 9 Spider-Man films. I would say that my Marvel videos are my least popular. I don't care. I'm going to do them anyway. I enjoy them. So there you go. Brandon says no problems. I'm sure we're very, very different when it comes to alcohol, I think. Well, as you know, I am Alyssa Jean, the Cab Sav Queen. It sounded almost William Shatner-esque. I am Alyssa Jean, the Cab Sav Queen. Anyway, yeah, Manny Jester says, good to see you, mate. Yeah, it was good to see you guys. I'm going to do this every month. I don't have a date nailed down. I've got to look at Saturdays. I'm not going to have anything particularly planned for my mid-afternoon in February. But I will do this again in February. This is a lot of fun, just sitting here chatting with you guys. So happy to see Jerome. So cool. Maddie Jester, the Pilsner Prince. I love it. The Pilsner Prince. Okay, everybody, thank you so much for joining me. I look forward to doing this again next month. In the meantime, check out all the other shit I'm going to be doing. Brandon, I will definitely see you next week when I join Mark and Josh for our Expanse overall season review. That's going to be a lot of fun. The rest of you, I hope to see you again soon. All right, everyone. That's it. Good night. I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.